Alright, what's going on? So, like I promised, unlike last time, I'm actually going to film this video for you. This is me answering the questions that you guys were cool enough to ask me. So, I'm not gonna babble on forever. We're listening to cattle decapitation in the background. Let's fucking do it. So, the first, I'm gonna be looking at my phone pretty much the entire time I'm reading off my phone. First off, I have 8 questions here from my friend Annika, who was actually cool enough to write this shit down on a piece of paper. Get on her level. First, do you have any convictions you would be willing to die for? I thought about this one for a while and I honestly couldn't think of anything I would be willing to just die for. Not a conviction anyway. There's no cause that means enough to me personally that I would be willing to just give my life for it. I don't know, maybe one day. If you could change one thing about the world, regardless of guilt or politics, what would you do? Religion would get the boot. Tell me something about yourself most people don't know. So one time I had a friend's bare dick on my face. Not in my face, but on it. And, I'm not gonna give you any context. Last record you bought and most wanted record ever. This is the last record I bought. I just bought it today. I actually went to the record store for the first time in fucking probably a year. I would say my most wanted record right now as something that I couldn't just go and buy at any given time would probably be like an OG press of like Dark Medieval Times or something. What do you consider unforgivable? Infidelity. Who would you first tell if you found a dead body in the garden? What would you do? How dead are we talking, and is it sexy? When did you screw something up but no one found out it was you? One time, back when I still lived at home, I accidentally broke my brother's bedroom window. The point was just me messing with him. I wanted him to think somebody was breaking into our house. And then when the window fucking broke, I ended up telling my mom that I also thought someone was breaking into the house. The most useless talent you have. My thumb can bend backwards like that. Both of them can. That's not really a talent, but I couldn't think of anything else. Also, I can ride a unicycle. Alright, next fear from my buddy Josh. What bands did you end up not liking originally, but in later times ended up growing to love? This is gonna sound really shitty, but Deceased. What are your favorite movies? Any film or subgenre? I would say my favorite movie of all time is probably Dead Alive. If not Dead Alive, then Slither. Hypothetically, if you and I ever crossed paths in Texas again, which I'm hopeful will happen for real, please describe our date plans and how we would go about doing them. No date, we'd fuck. Alright, Nathan Grind asked, what is the most abrasive black metal you can think of? War metal not included. Right off the bat, I think Carved Cross is probably one of the most abrasive black metal bands that I actually like. Besides that, the early Vlad Tepes shit is unbelievably fucking raw. Also, what are your favorite distros / labels to buy from? Nuclear War Now is always great for getting the Iron Bonehead stuff. Hell's Headbangers is always reliable, and Fallen Empire and Arcane Altar are also great as well. Sweaty Balls asked, what is the meaning of life? I would say given that life itself is a completely temporary phenomenon, mix that with the fact that religion is primal, juvenile, and just fucking stupid, I would say the combination of those two things render life objectively meaningless. Alucard Tepes asked, what's your favorite non-horror movie? Probably Shutter Island. That's not horror, right? Martin Tinkle asked, what's your thoughts about the Mayhem material after De Mysteriis Dom Satanas, especially Esoteric Warfare? I don't really consider myself to be a Mayhem fan. I know it's weird, I just showed you a Mayhem record a minute ago. I would say when a band has almost 30 years worth of material and they have like 2 or 3 good releases, you can't really call yourself a fan of that band. You can be a fan of the couple releases that are good, but the band in general, I just don't care. After De Mysteriis, the only thing I could say I really like is maybe Wolf Lair Abyss. Esoteric Warfare was better than I was expecting it to be when it came out, but I haven't listened to it in a couple years. Cross Reaper asked a few questions. Favorite Finnish black metal band? Goatmoon. Of all that you listen to, what percentage would you say is listening to material you've heard before and know you like versus listening to new material you've never heard? I spend probably 99% of my time listening to stuff that I know I like. New stuff that's coming out, I'll basically devote just a little bit of time, maybe like once a week or something, and just listen to the stuff that people are kind of talking about. You know, it's very rare that I actually go searching for new shit anymore, just because there's so much shit coming out all the time that it's impossible to keep up as it is. Ben NG, You seem to have new tattoos every time you post a video. Care to give a brief tour? Funny you say that, I actually got tattooed today, but I'm not going to show you that one. I'll show you a few of my favorites. So this first one I got in Montreal by a guy whose art I've admired for quite a long time. And basically it's just some mountains, a river, and the northern lights. This next one I got in Thailand, on Bangkok. This is I think they call them yaksha. This one here is called a namakubi in traditional Japanese, like Irizumi style art. I would say this is probably still my favorite tattoo. This next one I got in Barcelona. The idea was supposed to be a bull eye inside of like a triangle, but I let the guy work with it and do what he wanted. And this is how it turned out. Really fucking cool. I love this thing. I have this demon head with Jesus crucified in its mouth. Yeah, this is one of my newer tattoos. On my other arm, one of my favorites is this little log cabin here. Basically a long story behind it, but I love this tattoo. I have this devil hand holding a lotus flower with like a skull in it. Mom heart, obviously. I got this Viking helmet in Reykjavik, and here's just some of the other shit that's on my arm. Deathcore Gamer 120, favorite Dying Fetus album, War of Attrition. Matthew Football Focus, favorite albums of the year so far. I would say the new Not True Nar album is really good, and the new Panphage album is also really fucking good. Stathis Court asks, do you think black metal lyrics should have specific themes, like Satanism, misanthropy, nihilism, etc.? Or should the artists not limit themselves to such barriers? I know some people have the opinion that black metal is only black metal if the lyrics are satanic. The only problem with that is, once you say that, I mean, what's the difference between deicide and black metal? But no, I don't think any genre of music can or should be determined by lyrical themes. Plus, a lot of my favorite black metal stuff is more nature-oriented, so I would say if I were to follow those criteria, a lot of my favorite black metal bands wouldn't be black metal. Drew Ike, sorry if I mispronounced your name, brah. Favorite Australian bands? Drowning the Light. King Verbatim asks, what are your thoughts on some of the black metal bands from northern New England, such as Bjorn's Hall, Cold Northern Vengeance, Obsidian Tongue, and Falls of Raros? I love that shit. Especially Falls of Raros, and also that Bjorn's Hall album that came out this year. I have the CD on the way. Absolutely fucking fantastic. If you guys haven't heard that, it's called Estuary. Check that shit out. Frank Vale asked a few questions. Where are you going on your next trip? As of right now, the plan is Australia and New Zealand in July. Any planning of going in European Metal Festival in the future? So many good ones. France, Netherlands, Germany, Sweden. I would fucking love to. Unfortunately, it's not so much festivals that I'd be interested in, more so as like individual shows. Because a lot of the shit that they have in Europe, as we've seen lately, would get banned here in the United States. So, yeah, apparently I have to go to Europe to see some of my favorite bands play live. His other question is, where do you get those fucking A2 poster frames? Can't find it anywhere. I'm gonna guess that you're from Europe, Frank. And I get these at Walmart, very cheap frames, but they do the job. Devin Triplet asked, top 5 black metal albums of all time. Fuck. Goddamn, honestly, shit, Baphomet 783 asks, any harsh noise recommendations? Absolutely not. I could not fucking care less. Also, what is your favorite LLN project? Mutilation, hands down. Howard Barker asks, what is your favorite gory death scene in a movie? I would say pretty much anything that happens in Dead Alive is top tier death scene. Love it. Holy fucking shit, Max Goodman. Okay, I'm gonna try and just answer the questions without reading this whole fucking message here. How is the extreme metal scene where you live in Kentucky now versus when you lived in Florida? Honestly, man, I would say the local scene was better in Florida. Having bands like Druid Lord and Black Witchery, stuff like that was cool. Here in Kentucky, there's not many local bands that I really fucking care about. A few years back, I would have been able to say Panopticon, but now Panopticon is based in Minnesota, so maybe Saptherin is a really fucking good Kentucky-based black metal band. Do people at your workplace know what you listen to, and if so, what do they think about it? I think most of them probably just assume it's like Slipknot. One of my good friends, the guy who works right next to me, I started talking to him because he had a Sepultura tattoo, which I thought was really cool, but unfortunately it's the Roots era of Sepultura that he likes. Do you have plans to ever do 70,000 Tons of Metal Cruise or Wacken? If I had to choose one of those, I would definitely do the 70,000 Tons of Metal Cruise. I've been on like 4 or 5 cruises, and it's always a really good time, and I think pairing that with metal bands would be pretty cool. Plus, I think the 70,000 Tons of Metal Cruise lineup is almost always better than Wacken, which, despite it being so fucking popular, I think the lineup almost always sucks ass for the most part. What bands do you think are breaking grounds in the scene today? I don't know, if you're asking for me personally, I would say bands like Panopticon and Grov, bands that are doing something a bit different. If you're asking in terms of like popularity, I really couldn't tell you. Do you think going abroad so many times in the past few years has changed the way you see things in America? Yes, it's made me grateful for certain things, and it's also made me sort of resent this country for most things. I've never been patriotic. I'm not patriotic now. And I would say if I had the option, I would move to somewhere like Japan, like that. Finally, I will be in Tokyo in summer conducting some research. Got any advice for me on what to see and do? I would say if you can, make it out to Mount Fuji. Go see the Suicide Forest. That whole area is fucking gorgeous. Besides that, figure out that fucking subway map before you get there, because that can be intensely confusing. Blood Temple Necromancy asks, favorite Black Death bands? Right off the bat, right now, lately, it's been Archgoat. Archgoat's probably always going to be the favorite, but I would say Caveman Cult has been sort of getting a lot of play recently as well. Jason Tlumaki, there's no way I pronounced that right, I'm sorry. What do you think of the current state of raw black metal? F5ers and limited runs on vinyl like Obscuritatum and Orgy of Carrion. Do these bands represent the future of black metal, or are they just trophy hunting for Instagram? I think you hit the nail on the head. A lot of that shit really truly is just trophy hunting, especially considering I've heard shit that sound exactly like Orgy of Carrion and Obscuritatum, bands with records that are going for like $8 on Discogs. Absolutely, it's the aesthetic, it looks cool, and it's super limited, so you gotta have it. Though I don't think it's going to be the future of the genre, I think it'll always be around. There always will be people buying shit to post pictures of and then trade off. Seek Semper Tyrannis asks, what are your political leanings? Honestly, man, I do pick from both sides. I would say if it wasn't for all the religious shit, I would find myself a lot more on the right than I actually am, because I would never fucking go out and vote for somebody on the right, because pretty much all the shit they care to do is religiously motivated, and that's the shit that's wrong with it. They seem to only care about making restrictive laws against homosexuals, which I think is fucking stupid. And a lot of the other shit you hear them talk about is pro-life bullshit, which is also fucking stupid, especially considering the Bible condones abortion. Look that shit up. In fact, in the Bible, God helps perform abortions. I think the right would be a lot different if they actually read the book they seem to care so much about. Julian Gonzalez asked, favorite Dsdm album? It's not an album, but Forgotten Tombs' Songs to Leave is probably up there. And Nocturnal Depression's Reflections of a Sad Soul is fucking top tier. Favorite country for death metal? The United States. Favorite Cancer Slug song? Fuck. Lessons in Death? Maybe? That's fucking tough. Maelstrom of Horror, top 3 brutal death bands and corresponding albums. Putrepile is my favorite brutal death metal band, and The Pleasure and Suffering is my favorite Putrepile album. Besides that, Viral Loads, Backwards Bludgeonings, that's pretty much untouchable. And if you want to consider Devourment brutal death metal instead of slam, then I would say Butcher of the Week. Gavin T, where do you buy most of your metal online? Honestly, most of the stuff that I buy is on Discogs. It really depends. New shit, I end up getting a lot of stuff from Hell's Headbangers and Arcane Altar. But most of the shit that I'm looking to buy right now is like older shit that I haven't ever picked up. And that's all Discogs jobs. Evo0930, what are some of your favorite genres and artists outside of the metal realm? It's pretty much always been the same few bands. I would say Cancer Slug, King Dude, The Coffin Shakers, Death in June, shit like that. Pexter McLean asked, was considering starting a vinyl collection video of my own. Any suggestions? I assume by suggestions you mean like any advice. My advice is, for the love of God, just do something different than all these fucking guys are already doing, because this shit is so fucking oversaturated with people showing the same bullshit, and literally taking lines from each other's videos. And I don't watch 99% of it anymore, so if you are going to make videos, please, for the love of God, make them worth watching. Alpha, have you heard of Maynard's solo project? If so, what do you think? So I actually was pretty excited when I heard it was happening, and then the album came out, and honestly, I just haven't listened to it, and I really haven't had much of a desire to listen to it either, so I don't know, maybe eventually. Possessed to Skate asks, would you say your views align with that of NSBM, or do you like it for the entertainment value? The entertainment value, art should be available in its most hateful forms for anybody to want to listen to. But if you're talking about the NS stuff as being anti-Judaism, then I would say absolutely. Because unlike what a lot of you guys seem to think, Jewish people aren't their own race. Judaism is a religion, and all religion is fair game to mock, because it all deserves to be. Judaism is as stupid as Christianity, and Islam is even fucking dumber than that. So I would say if that's what you're asking, then yes, down with Judaism. Metalhead70 asked, if there was a fire, what 3 things would you grab from the music room? CD shelf, record shelf, and Puff Daddy. I couldn't leave her behind. Plague Wielder asked, I'd just like to know how it's going with the airplane pilot stuff. Are you still doing it? So for those of you who don't know, a couple years ago, I was flying airplanes. It got to the point to where I was flying airplanes on my own. I would fly little 2-seater airplanes from one city, maybe to the beach, or to a different city. And, you know, I would fly back. I was training for commercial piloting. And then this opportunity that I have now sort of popped up out of nowhere. I said yes without thinking about it and put the pilot stuff on hold. And unfortunately, I never went back to it. I'd like to eventually. The dream for me would be to own a little 2-seater airplane. You know, despite how fucking expensive that is. Larry Nestor asked, what advice would you give to people starting a vinyl collection? Buy what you like. All killer, no filler. Remember that shit. Quality over quantity every day of the week. Don't waste your money. Don't blind buy shit. Just buy the good shit. What career/job do you have that helps fund such a hobby? I act in gay porn. I did say I had a friend's bare dick on my face. Brady Spencer, if anyone ever asks me what black metal is, I'll just put on Antichrist by Gorgoroth and show them. It's not a question, you idiot. Oh my god, okay. Cracks 1.618034. What do you think about the mentality that a large number of newer black metal fans have that discredit any other form of music? Meaning in the 20+ years I have been into black metal, I see a large number of people who get into the genre and then denounce any previous musical interests and solely listen to black metal, or anything that is considered cult or edgy, and act as though no other forms of music exist and that all other music is shit even if they once liked it. Thoughts? I would say if somebody's doing that, they're just trend hopping, right? Because for me, man, I still like a lot of the shit that I liked in elementary school. I never faked liking anything, so, you know, if there's anything that I once liked that I don't like now, it's not because I stopped listening to it because another genre of music came along. I just grew out of it. But there are still bands that I listened to when I was in 3rd, 4th grade that I still have CDs and records of that I still play frequently. They're gonna move on from black metal. They'll never listen to it again. One day they'll be listening to jazz rock and say black metal shitty. Afum Yugoth, what do you think of power metal? Sabaton. Satan themed black metal or pagan themed black metal?
Satan.
Do you play an instrument? If not, what instrument would you play if you could play one? Honestly, I'd like to be able to play a piano. Thoughts on death metal bands who do the anti-Christian/satanic thing in a cringy edgelord manner, e.g. Deicide, Vital Remains, etc. I would say that's the ear of the beholder, because I actually really like a lot of Deicide. Vital Remains, not so much. I don't think it's any more edgy or cringeworthy than a lot of these black metal bands do. I just think they do it with death metal. Have you ever heard of Svolder? Yes. How about Mystifier? Yes, but I don't own anything. Why are you so awesome? No. You are me and I'm you asked, how many CDs/records do you own? I own around 400 CDs and around 800 records. Favorite to least favorite genres? Sludge, doom, thrash, metalcore. Of these, doom would be my favorite, then thrash metal, then sludge metal and metalcore are tied for shittiest. Which band have you seen the most live? The Black Dahlia Murder I've seen 12 times live. Who are you dying to see live? I'd like to see Goat Moon live. Doomed Existence asks, why do you prefer vinyl as opposed to CDs or cassettes? For me, I'm not an audiophile, so vinyl for me, the upside is that the presentation is bigger and honestly, you can just do more cool shit with it. Usually it includes posters, you know, there's all sorts of special variants and stuff like that. It's just more interactive. Listening to records is almost more of a ritual. It's a more active listening experience. So I would say for me, that's why. I still buy CDs and tapes. CDs I literally buy, I'll put it on my iPod, and then I'll put it on the shelf and it'll sit there for the rest of time. Is there a bad Mutilation release? If so, why? There's no bad Mutilation releases, but there are a couple albums I don't listen to as much as some of the others. Like, I would say that I don't listen to Sorrow Galaxies near as much as any of the other ones. David Tapia asked, what is your inspiration to visit the places you have or want to visit in the near future? Honestly, it's cool because I know when every year I'm going to have some time off. And my ritual, or my sort of thing that I've done the last 5 times I've traveled out of the country, is I'll literally sit down, look at a map, and just think about it. I have such a long list of places that I'd like to see that pretty much nothing is off limit. Or if there's something that catches my interest that I see a picture of, I'll be like, that's where I want to go next. And then I'll form a trip around one thing. To me, it's fun. I like being able to, you know, sit down and say, I'm having this time off, I can go anywhere in the world, where's it gonna be? To me, that's fun. Aaron McCormick asked, if you could bring a band back from the dead for one last show, who would it be? Beharit. Best gig you've been to, no festivals. I would say the show I went to Los Angeles for last year with Blood Incantation, Arisminda, and Sadistic Intent was probably the best show, one-off show that I've ever been to. Fermented Taco, 5 tips for record collecting beginners. I can't think of 5. I would say if you want to start collecting records, just buy shit you like. Don't blind buy shit, because then you're gonna end up with 1,000 records and you listen to maybe 40 of them. I don't get it. Chandler Brown, who is your favorite musician in black metal? Oh my god, I don't know. I would say Asgore is up there. I would say Rest from Leviathan's up there. I would say Austin Lunn is up there. I don't know, that's a tough one. If you were to be in a band, what would you want to play? If you're talking about the genre of music, I would actually, if I could make music myself, it would be like almost neo-folky type stuff, I think. Dictator Ethan, 10 albums you own that you'll never trade or sell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kevin H, who means more, Drowning in the Light or Cattle Decapitation? Cattle Decapitation, it'd be hard to choose almost anything over them. And finally, Curtis Buckle, what's your most wanted item that you don't own? I think I mentioned it earlier, maybe Dark Medieval Times. December Moon would be cool to own. Yeah, a lot of really unobtainable shit. Alright, so I actually managed to get through most of those questions. I didn't answer all of them, but I think once I edit this down, it probably will still be pretty fucking long, but I'm gonna make it work. So yeah, this was a lot of fun to make. It's gonna be a pain in the dick to edit, but it just comes with the territory, I guess. So thanks to every single one of you who participated in this, asked questions. Super duper appreciated. And yeah, very cool. I have some records pulled out, and I'm gonna do another one of these vinyl update videos very, very soon. So if there's anything else you guys would like to see me do, please don't hesitate to ask. I would love to diversify the content on this channel a bit more and give you guys more of what you'd like to see. So yep, thanks for sticking around, guys, and see you soon. Later.